A lot has happened, and the jury's not even in the room, I don't believe. Let's bring in Laura McNeal, because there was a flurry of activity there. Arguments over whether Scintilla Shores had a flurry of activity, danger, police calls, suspicious people, during the time period that Ahmaud Arbery went on that, I believe it was a Sunday jog. And then as we took a break, you were still listening, Laura, but there was another motion that Mr. Goff, defense attorney for Mr. Bryan, I believe, filed about intimidation in the courtroom is what I'm hearing. Can you explain what went on?
Yes, and it's still, again, unraveling literally as we speak. But essentially he's saying that he's filing yet another motion stating that there's some type of intimidation going on in the courtroom. What I didn't catch is whether or not he was stating that intimidation was coming from the jury box or from co-counsel, meaning the opposing counsel, rather. But just the fact, Sharon, that we haven't even started today's trial proceedings yet. These are just the pre-motion hearings, and you can literally cut the tension with a knife. It is already very contentious. The judge is clearly irritated at this point because you can see that he just wants to move on with the legal process, and he keeps seeing them squabbling, to be quite honest, over things that are pretty minute in some sense that he can figure out if they just give the judge a chance to consider the evidence and whether or not that evidence should be admitted. And in this case, we're talking about evidence that shows the propensity for suspicious 911 calls in Scintilla Shores.
Like you said, we don't know what the intimidation factor is. He's not trying to imply that the black ministers, once again, the iconic, the prominent icons, as he calls them. Is he trying to hint at that once again? That's the only thing I can think of when he says intimidation tactics. Yeah,
code black pastors. But yes, you know, if that is indeed the motivation, the judge is going to have had his limit at this point. He's reached his limit. He has already said more than once that motion is frivolous, it's ridiculous. As the judge said yesterday, he didn't even know Reverend Jesse Jackson was in the courtroom until they brought it to his attention, meaning he wasn't creating any type of disturbance, let alone influence. And so what we might see is this judge, in this case, start to turn into a Judge Schroeder, like we saw in Rittenhouse. And he might just lose his cool on this bench because he's tired of being repetitive, tired of trying to, again, not waste the court's time with these silly motions that are being made by the defense attorney.
So instead of saying, I don't know what you're doing, it may turn into, don't get brazen with me, that whole thing. But can we go back to this thing, Laura, where the neighborhood is so dangerous? Because the prosecutor had that big sheet that she had put little pink and green and different tabs on, that she said one of the defense attorneys handed her 30 minutes before the proceedings were supposed to begin today. There was some dispute about that. And she pieced through them, and it was things like a car parked on, you know, my property. Oh yeah, that's a mistake. Some kids calling. Oh yeah, it's a misunderstanding. Instead of, you know, I grew up in a borough, and this is gonna take away my street cred. I didn't grow up in Philadelphia proper. Okay, a very small borough. Right. And I remember working for the radio station there, and it was like you'd read the police blotter, and it was like someone stole a pie off Mrs. Jones' back porch. Someone knocked over someone's sun tea on the. You know, it was those kinds of things, and I wonder what the judge will decide when it comes to something like this.
Yes, I think what stood out to me the most is one of the 911 calls is, I'm missing tools in my house, but the door is bolted. So obviously no one was inside her home.
Missing some tools, all right.
Right. Yeah. And so I think we can infer from the judge's response and his mannerisms, I think he will allow some of that information or evidence to be introduced with respect to these 911 calls in Scintilla Shores, but he's going to allow it in very narrowly. So he's going to, I think, be very specific in saying, you know what, out of those, and I wrote it down, I believe it was 68 police reports that were just given to the prosecution this morning. He's going to make sure it's very narrow, only relevant to the time period with Ahmaud Arbery. And again, trying to establish, for the defense needs this. The defense needs to show, look, Travis and Greg McMichaels, they were well within their reasonableness in terms of saying, you know what, This is a neighborhood that's been plagued allegedly with all this high crime potential with these suspicious 911 calls. Therefore, their actions the day that Ahmaud Arbery were killed were justified. That's why the defense is fighting so hard to get this information in, even though, as you said, Sharon, we can tell from the examples that the defense that, you know, it's not really a high crime area. They're really pulling at straws, the defense, at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if either one of you guys have a Ring doorbell, but you sign up for the Ring doorbell and they give you all these neighborhood reports, and I'm talking about old ladies talking about, oh, there's a stray cat that's in my backyard, I just got to get rid of them, the police is coming. I mean, you see all these type of reports of people calling the police for the most asinine reasons. Look, all I know is that Satilla Shores, the property value is going down compared to, because if you're thinking about the kind of crime that they're talking about having there from this court proceeding. Let's bring back in Dray Clark. He's our correspondent who's been on top of this from the beginning. And Dray, you've been listening in, just getting your thoughts on what you heard so far. Without the jury even being present, there's a lot going on.
Well, Kevin Goff is doing exactly what he said he would do. He submitted his motion to try and ban the black pastors from coming into the courtroom. I also know that Kevin Goff is very aware of what's coming. He knows there are hundreds of black pastors from all across the country, some of them iconic. They're on their way here to Brunswick, Georgia. And he's trying to do everything he can to keep them from coming inside the courtroom. Because after Kevin Goff leaves court every night, he goes home and he watches the coverage. So he's very aware of what's going on. What he can't seem to understand and accept is that Judge Walmsley is not going to entertain this idea of banning people from coming inside the courtroom. At some point in time, he has to let it go, and clearly the judge is annoyed because he now recognizes Kevin Goff as constantly, daily presenting and submitting what many would call these frivolous motions that are absolutely going nowhere.
Laura, let me add to what Dray just said there. Goff is going home seeing all this coverage because he can. The jury's not supposed to see this. So this can't play out the way that Goff wants it to, because there's no intimidation, because the jury wouldn't even know that they're there because they're not supposed to be watching anything to do with the trial.
Right. So essentially what Attorney Goff, the argument he's trying to make is that just the presence of having civil rights icons in the courtroom is enough to influence the jury. So the fact that the jury members can see that, oh, wow, Al Sharpton is here and Reverend Jesse Jackson, this is a pretty big case. Well, that's really a silly argument, because the jury already knows this is a huge national case. I mean, they see the national media outside the courtroom. So it's not a very strong argument, and it's getting to the point where now people are starting to question Attorney Goff's legal professional skills in terms of not knowing when to, as they say, I think it's Kenny Rogers, not knowing when to fold them, when to walk away, you know, not knowing when to say, you know what, I'm going to leave my basketball on the court. It's time for me to go home and practice my skills a little bit more. Because really at this point, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's becoming humorous, but also really irritating. And you can see that in the facial expressions of this judge.
Yeah, and I hope that you can get your hands so you can wrap your legal mind around it and tell us more, Laura. The motion, the actual motion. I'm so curious if it says black pastors or civil rights icons, or if it would make a difference if Meg Thee Stallion showed up. I mean, could it just be about celebrity? Would he have more? Well, would he have more of an argument legally if this was about high-profile people in the courtroom, as opposed to the carve-out about black people who are noteworthy in the civil rights arena?
Yes, so literally Tupac could be risen from the dead and show up, and it would not make a difference. Janet Jackson could sit in that courtroom. It wouldn't make a difference. The reality is the law is so solid in this area. Because it is a public courtroom, anyone can attend as long as they're not disrupting the court proceedings, as long as they're not trying to intimidate or harass the jury members. So they would have to see them perhaps, you know, doing a little sign at the jury members like, you know, you're next, or something to demonstrate that they're trying to influence the defendant's right to a fair and impartial trial. And we're not seeing that. What we see is Reverend Jesse Jackson, 80-year-old, frail in his health, traveling all the way to Brunswick, Georgia to console a grieving mother. That's what we're seeing in the courtroom. And this idea that that's influencing the jury is ridiculous. And as you said, Meg Thee Stallion, I hope she shows up on Thursday with those pastors just to prove a point.
Sure. And Janet and her brothers too, perhaps. Bring them all.
Yeah,
Bring them all. You know?
I doubt if some of that jury would know who Meg Thee Stallion is, to be honest with you.
Celine Dion is welcome as well.
They
Bring them all.
Janet,
you know, allies come in all shapes and colors.
Absolutely.
So the medical examiner. Go, Mike.
Go ahead, Sharon.
Well, I was going to say, Dray, let's wrap. We only got about 30 seconds, but the medical examiner's on the stand. At some point, the medical examiner will take the stand. That's going to be a long day, a hard day. The judge mentioned about being 1 or 2 days from the state resting its case. Given these delays and these flurry of motions filed, does that seem feasible?
You know, the judge said some time ago that he thought this trial, in fact, he said to one of the prospective jurors, that he believed this trial would run through the 19th, meaning we would be done by this Friday. I think it's clear that's not going to happen, mainly because of these motions and these delays and these hesitations. This trial could easily go past Thanksgiving. Sharon.
Dray Clark.
All right, guys.
Laura McNeal. Laura, get your hands on the motion, please. I'm sorry, Mike.
Somebody invite Meg Thee Stallion. Come, Beyonce too. We're gonna bring all the celebrities down
Janet
there.
Jackson.
Somebody call TD Jakes.
Okay.
What you doing, TD Jakes? Come on down there and bless us. Kirk Franklin, come sing for us too.
What are you doing?